Okay, let's start our session today with recitation of Umul Kitab Al-Fatihah. Okay, thank you everyone for joining. So let me pin myself first. Go to small. Okay, so this is what we call your schedule. Your Lichess schedule that you what we call play from 2 October until today, which is 10 October. So until now, you already play 8 round. If we go to the game link here, okay, so most of you have finished all the round except for Hafiz lah. I think Hafiz, yeah, Hafiz Safidin and also Nuril Hafiz. So because of this person, I cannot generate the what you call the cross table until round 8. Okay, so you need to wait another weeks in order to see that cross table. So if you want me to show you the current league, current standing, who is the first, second, third, and so on, during the coaching session, please make sure before the day of the coaching, for example, next time is this is coaching number 1, so next time will be coaching number 2. You need to make sure for round 14 must be completed. I mean that whatever from round 1 until round 14 will be completed, so that I can show you the standing until round 14. Okay, if not, even though there are one person don't finish, then I will not present the thing, because I want everyone to be responsible lah. We know everybody is busy, okay, but if you busy because of yourself, then it's okay. But remember, this thing is about team also. Even though you will play individual, this training is sort of like team training lah. So if one person doesn't finish, then it will affect the entire team. Then it's also make me unable to sort of like generate the cross table. So for the next session, if you want to see the standing, please make sure until round 14 you done. You complete before the day of the coaching itself. Okay, so we done with this. Then let me put here first. Okay, Hafizullah, please make sure you put your ID here. Okay, you make sure you put your ID. I make this Google Sheet editable, so you can edit it. Okay, done with this. So let's go to our coaching. Let's go here. Where is myself? So this is me again here. Okay. First, this what you see in front of you now. Let me open this. Okay. After I gather all your data from the league, MASUM Open League, up to now, all of you have played, total game played is around 93 something lah, 90 plus something, okay, 90 plus something, and most of the loss, when I try to see from the bigger perspective, most of the loss is because of the blunder. Okay, most of the you lose because of the blunder. When you play this time control 15 5 second here, 15 minute 5 second, which is also your time control for MASUM Open, your game mostly decided whether you or your opponent make a blunder. Okay, blunder, when I say a blunder, is not same as tactic. Blunder meaning that oversight. You give things for free. You sort of like you overlook very very obvious tactic. Okay, tactic. When I say tactic, that is quite different. I mean that the level of the worst is lesser lah. The blunder is oversight. Okay, so we will, and because of that, for the 3 times of our session, we have 3 sessions only for this coaching. I will focus more on this tactical blunder. Okay, tactical blunder, because at the end of the day, no matter how good is your positional understanding, But if you make a blunder at the end of the game, then no good lah. If you make a blunder in the opening, also no good. So that's why for this purpose, for this MASUM open purpose, I will focus more on this tactical blunder. If you want, I will not talk much about the opening. If you want to know more about opening, please look at the previous MASUM training link. So you can see that I talk about the training, about the opening, but this time we talk about the blunder. Okay, let's talk about the blunder first. Okay, there are a few type of blunder. Okay, but the most common, because I try to find what is the most common blunder that you did based on what you have played. The most common blunder is because of this. Let me open this thing. The most common blunder that happened is when the queen here giving check here, and then because of this giving check, because this, let's say they are nothing, let's say they are what we call, there are no pawn here. So after this check, please those who are not mute, please mute your ni. Okay, because later on it will be echo. So most of blunder is because of the queen check here, and also queen check for black is because of the queen check here lah. Okay, and also sometimes it's about the queen check here, and also the queen. This is, let me put the color here. And also the queen check here. So this square, so for example, this square for white, and also this square for what we call the for black, is the most common square where when I see your league is the most common place where you make a blunder lah. When you make a blunder, because once you give a check, then suddenly something hanging here, and then you can take somewhere something here, you can take something, and the queen can take something in the middle of the board. So that is one of the pattern that keep recurring lah, keep recurring on the in this your game. So I want to focus first here. Okay, I want to focus here the queen check on the a4 and then a5. Okay, so now you might ask, you have a lot of games, so how do you know how you sort of like filter this blunder? Because to look at each game is quite tiring. It's quite tiring to look at each game. You need to analyze one by one. So how to sort of like filter so that you can show, so that your database or whatever can show this type of blunder, which game have this type of blunder. So for that, let me close this first. No, I will minimize only. So this is the game, your league game until 93 only up to now. So the what we call the amount of data, even though it's a lot, but it's not it's still less than 100. So for that purpose, I will use another data, which is this data. Okay, so this have 533 games. Okay, 533 games. So what is this data? So this is the data played by you, meaning that all the Mustang since 2019. Okay, so I keep your data. For example, here MASUM 2020. Okay, for those who are Mustang previous year, we have Mio, we have Nuril, we have Mizan, and so on. Your for those who are new here, so that is your senior in chess. So basically, last year we also have the chess league for MASUM 2020. So I start gathering the data from that time. So you see, you have the familiar name: Huzaifi, Faiz, Hafiz, Huzaifi, Mio, Faiz, Huzaifi, Yamin is not, Safidin, Hafiz Jamil, and so on. Even for the sister lah, you see the familiar name Umuhani, Nuril, and also Mizan, Siti Sarah, and so on. And after the Lichess League MASUM 2020, I also gathered their data, the game data from the MASUM itself, MASUM tournament itself. During this time is the the physical time, so they play with the other university lah. So Umuhani, Mizan, and so on. And also come this year, so there are a lot of data. So come this year 2021, okay, this year for the MASUM close, we have a selection also, right? So where the Khalid get this selected and so on. So this is where the Khalid name start to appear. Khalid, and so on. And the sister selection, this is where Kur start to appear. Kur, Aisyah, and then you have Aisyah, Kur. I only sort of like gather the data, those who are played for that particular tournament. For example, even though this IIUM, this is not the IIUM nowadays, this is not the IIUM that in the group now, this is different IIUM. So even though the IIUM also play like 7 games during the selection, but I only take the game from those who are selected. For example, Aisyah, all the game by the Aisyah, all the game by Kur. Okay. And also now after all this sister, the Khalid and also Aisyah and Kur is selected, then we have the league. Okay, so this is like 12 person who will represent the university to go to MASUM close. That happened 20 September last month. So basically before that tournament, we also have the league. This is double round robin, meaning that each player will play against each other twice. So you have all this data, and we have all that I think that's quite a lot lah. And then after that we have the game itself during the MASUM open, MASUM close itself. So you see Safidin play with the guy Mizan, Safidin, Mizan, Aisyah, and all the game by our player, I will put it in one database. And then now after all this MASUM close ended, we have this opportunity, the sport complex give the opportunity to send this Mustang to this MASUM open. So that's why we sort of like create the selection. So this is where Shabil come in. Shabil, Irshadi, Abdul Kadir, Hafizullah, Aiman, and Amin Fatah. And also this for the sister, you see Tuan Fatin, Nadra, Ezlin, Fadilah, Izzah, Ayuni, Double N, and so on come in. So their game start in the my database lah. And then now after you are selected, then you are now going to the league. So now this the 93 games, that total games up to now for the league that I show just now lah. So this is round 1, round 2, round 3, and so on. So to show you that this database, the reason why I create this database is that the way how I coaching is more or less using your own data. It's easy for me to do a coaching, go to the internet, find the what we call the material, or go find any books of chess and find whatever interesting and then do the coaching. That's easy coaching. That's easy because you just use whatever people have done. But I don't say that is not good. I mean, that still have sometimes you need to do that type of coaching also when you go like a high level and so on. But I believe it's more important for me to sort of like use your own games so that you know where is your mistake, you know where is your problem, rather than using any GM game, any world champion game, because world champion is fine, but then it doesn't reflect your game. So that's why I create this data. So that's why all the coaching that you see from now on, normally when I do coaching, I do like targeted coaching lah. I try to use your data and study your data and try to come up with the pattern and so on. So let's see, we talk about the queen to a4 and the queen to h5. So from this 500 data, because I use this data because it's more what I call more data point lah. The more data point that you have, not the easier, I mean that the more you can see the recurring pattern. Okay. Now from this 500 plus data, how do I find the tactic that occur when the queen go to a4 or when the queen go to a5? Okay, in the previous MASUM close, in the first, what we call, if you go to the YouTube, I think you go to the YouTube, I don't remember where, you can go here, and then here, players, if you click here, in this thing, apa tu? Macam nak click home, it's okay, what is that? Okay, let me, okay. So here, that's why in the beginning of the MASUM close, I talk about chess database. Okay, I will not talk detail about chess database. What is the thing? So for those who are new, please refer this lah, because I will just go straight to the database. That the reason why I can sort all the things is because I have this chess database lah. It's important. You will see the power of having a database. Okay, maybe you don't have this database. You can also use Lichess. Lichess also can have. And also I show in this, what we call, in this clip, maybe here in this clip, what is the alternative. For example, if you want to sort of like gather all your games, put in database and do all this filtering and so on. They are free alternative and so on. So all of that is already discussed here. So for those who are new, please watch lah, because at least later on when I discuss about chess base, the thing that I show here is chess base. Some of you have it, some of you not have it. I don't want for those new player, they get, oh, where I can get this stuff, where can I get this database and so on. So all of that already discussed here. So I will not repeat again because it just waste of time, and after all, I already record everything. So I think for new player, please go there to get the basic idea, what is database, chess database, and getting this so on. Because for me, that is important. Coaching is one thing. Okay, coaching, you can also sort of like, you can also go without coming to this coaching. You can also go find a books or go to the Lichess. For example, in the Lichess, right, you have this tool analysis, and you have this learn, you have chess basic, practice, study. You can do that yourself. Okay, so the purpose of me is basically, aside from giving the chess coaching, so I also give you the chess, the way, the method. For example, having a database is one way for you to sort of like help your learning, to filter, to sort of like get the overview. What is your weakness? What is your strength, and so on. So that's why during my coaching, you don't see, I start with the database, and then I start with the opening and so on lah. So now coming back to this, where is the thing? Pull data. Okay, so how I want to filter from this 500 things, what the blunder that happened because of queen go to a4 or queen go to a5. Those who have a chess base, you can use this lah. This you can benefit from this ni lah, because sometimes you have the program but you don't know how to use it, right? Okay, so what you do, you just control F, meaning that I try to sort of like filter the thing. Okay, so I want to see from this 533. So I go to maneuver. Okay, so I want to see queen go to a4. Okay, queen go to a4. So but that's only for white. But I want also for black also from queen, but not to a4 but to a5. So I put white or black, and then I mirror so that when I put queen a4, so queen a5 also, the queen goes to a5 also will be captured. Okay, so this in the chess base, this is a pretty powerful filtering option lah. For those who have never used this thing, for those of you, maybe you know about this. For those who have chess base, because I also need to cater those who are having chess base. Any of you who are new, for example, maybe Azlin, maybe Ayuni, maybe Aiman, maybe other sister, maybe you don't have this chess base. You might think that, oh, why should I learn? Why should I watch this thing or to be in this thing? I mean, yeah, maybe you don't have, but in the future maybe you have, or maybe you can use some free alternative. But I also need, during coaching, I also need to cater those who are strong. For example, like those who have a chess base lah. For example, Mizan, Mio, maybe they have a chess base. Faiz, maybe he have a chess base. Because if I look here, some of you have. If I look here, no, this is a previous MASUM. This is not this MASUM. In the previous MASUM, I have. In the previous MASUM, I think I can open here. Just a quick thing. in the previous MASUM. Let me open first. MASUM. Okay, this is MASUM close. Okay, so for example here, if you look here, this is during my previous coaching for MASUM close participant lah. So you can see there are few person, Safidin, Faiz, Hafiz, Mizan have the chest base. Some of you doesn't have, so that's why I give some of the video here about the alternative about before if you don't have chest base, what you do. So that's why I need to cater them also. Okay, so now you have this thing. You go to maneuver, you go queen to a4, you mirror the thing, and then you just okay. Some of you might know this thing, but at least it filter down. So you can see this. So you can see there are a lot having this queen to a4. Okay, so meaning that all this game is not. You can see the total game is not 500. Even though you see 525, but you see here 511, 518, 512. So if I go here, they have this how many 100 game. I don't remember how to. Yeah, you can see bottom there. You can see 525. But the total game that is filter. How to get? I don't know how to do it. But go here, right? How to do this? I think how to know how much from here. They don't put. But yeah, you can see 110 games. So from 500 game that I showed previously, 100 games have this queen to a4, and queen to a5. But then queen to a4, here queen can also go to queen a4, queen to what we call a4. But the blunder that commonly happen is not because queen go to a4. The blunder happen when you queen to a4 check. Okay, so I need to filter down so that queen to a4 or queen to a5 check, not just going to a4 or a5. So for that, I need to sort filter again. So for example here, instead of having a4 like this, you need to put check. It's happened. So queen to a4 check, and then I will mirror, meaning that also queen to a5 check. So I filter that. Then you can see just a few numbers lah. So this is where you can find the game where the player play queen to a4 and queen to a5 check. So I'm talking about blunder now. I'm talking about blunder. What happened when queen to a4 check make the blunder happen? So let's see this. For example, let's say take this what I call this this. So you can see. Let me put here. So at least you can see easily. Okay. So let's go to this Jing and Hafiz Jamil game. So this is MASUM 2020. So at that time it's 60 minutes, 30-second increment. So this is long game. It's not like what you will face later on. So you can see here. From here you can see this what you call this board here. So from the game you can see Hafiz is black. Hafiz plays what we call pawn to e5, okay, and then this bishop take, which is the blunder, because when bishop take here, this bishop is, you can see here, this bishop doesn't have anyone to protect, okay, so we call it like loose piece lah, loose piece, and because of that you have this check, and then you can take the bishop later because now this what we call check, and you get this bishop on this center lah. So that's one of the most common lah. It's very common. This thing very common. For example, let's go to the Humani. Let's say we go to Humani Kamalina. So you can see Humani, his what we call is white. Kamalina is black. And this happened during MASUM 2020 selection. Last year selection. To determine who will be representing URA. So you can see Hani is white, play queen a4. So queen a4, you can see here, this is what we call the Kamalina put his bishop on this a5, and because this check, then you get this bishop for free lah. So you get bishop for free. So the similar reason why this blunder happened is because you have this loose piece, okay? You have this loose piece, loose piece. So you have this loose piece. Okay, let's go to this maybe Aisyah and Nuril here. Okay, so this happened during the Lichess League MASUM 2021. So this year, happened this year. You see 1 September 2029. So you can see here Queen A5. Okay, let's see what happened before. So Aisyah is white and Nuril is black. So Aisyah play this thing. At the moment, this pawn is protected by the queen. Okay, so and also the only piece that can attack this pawn is only this knight. But because of this check, then there are only 2 attackers and 1 defenders, and then you can get this for free, and then you get that for free. So again, the reason why this blunder happened is because the loose piece. This pawn, yes, it is protected by the queen here. But if let's say black can sort of like add more fire towards the pawn to top up this knight attack, so you get this 2 attacker attacking this pawn and only 1 defender defending this pawn, meaning that you can take it. So that is common blunder. You can see the Queen A4 or Queen A5, and then you take on the what we call in the middle of the board. Okay, so let's go. You might say, okay, this happened only for Aisyah, for Umuhani, whatever. Even for the what we call for the good player, for example, like Safidin and Khalid, right? Safidin, you know, right? Safidin and also Khalid, also good player. You can see it's also happened. Also, you can see this thing. Check. You can check. Happen white check. Safidin is white. So you check, and then at least you can get this thing. Okay, at least you can get this thing. But Khalid play this what we call this C6, because not only this queen check can capture something, it's also sort of like put the question to this king. So this king might, if he move, then black doesn't have this privilege of castling. Castling, as you know, that is quite a privilege. If you put your king in the center for long, then it's really problematic later on lah. So you cannot sort of like defend with the queen because you have knight here, and the only way in order to sort of like it's not really, I mean, this is really not really, you give for free lah. You check, still the king also need to move away, right? So rather you just move straight away. So that's also the another reason why this Queen A4 or Queen A5 is quite common blunder, people commonly happen lah during the game at this level lah. Not only this check will cause you to lose something, but also you will lose the privilege of castling in certain time lah. In certain condition, you will lose a privilege of castling. So that's why it's quite ni lah. Okay, let's see also Siti Sarah Subramaniam. Okay, so this Siti Sarah is white. This play in the MASUM close. Recently. She play against Subramaniam Gayatri. Siti Sarah is white. If you look here, Siti Sarah put his queen to A4, check. Okay, normally, sometimes you can get the knight here, because sometimes the knight goes to rim. You be careful lah when you put your knight to the rim. Rim meaning that to the side of the board is more or less is susceptible for this queen A4 or queen A5 check. Ni lah. So but here there are one standard method lah to sort of like to protect this knight is by playing C6, because when you play the C6 here, not only you close this queen diagonal, you also sort of like protect this knight here. Okay, so this is the standard method lah. Standard method for protecting the knight on the side when your opponent give a check on the A4 or A5. Okay, so that's one thing. So let's see again honey game. So just to give you the idea why this is keep recurring, because you can say that, okay, this is a very what we call very easy check, very what we call very easy tactic. It's very obvious, but because of it's obvious, why it's keep recurring in the game? So the question is why it's keep recurring in the game, because even though after the analysis you found it's easy to see, but during the game, most player, they forget about this. Somehow most player forget about queen a4 and queen a5, no matter how good they are. At this level lah, at this amateur level lah, they always keep doing this again and again. For example here, Umuhani is white, Shazwani is black, playing in the MASUM close, woman section lah. So you take this, and then you have this queen, what we call queen a4 check, and then you get the knight again lah. You get the knight again. Okay, you might want to sort of like coming back, but you can sort of like increase the pressure. So if you can see here, the check also, this check queen a4 not only threaten to take this knight, okay, not only that, it's also allow white to release from this pin. You see this pin, right? This pin, right? So this check also, for white, from white perspective, not only he or she attacks something and giving check, but also it sometimes it release this pressure lah from this. And then if the black goes back, and then the knight can go to e5, and this bishop doesn't attack the queen anymore lah. And now the knight also is the one who attacking the bishop. Okay, so that's one of the advantage of giving the check on a5 lah. And then you castle, and then you get the free pawn lah. And then this pawn also already get damaged and so on. So you can see this queen a4, queen e5 is recurring theme over and over again. But because this is too common, sometimes it become routine. It's become routine. When something become a routine, let me put myself here. When something become a routine, it can be really dangerous. For example, let's see Hafizullah Shabil here. Okay, Hafizullah Shabil. This happened in selection MASUM Open last 2 weeks. We have selection, right, for the new player. So this happened between Hafizullah and Shabil. We know Shabil win the entire selection, right? But here Shabil did very, I don't know, it's great. It's blunder that should not be done lah. For example here, you play this queen to a4 check, thinking that you get this knight, but forgetting that this queen just what we call can be captured like that. So this is a type of blunder that you don't want to do. This is a real blunder lah. You don't want to do this. Maybe the psychology behind why this happened is because as you can see here, as I have shown before, the queen a4 and queen a5 keep recurring. The theme is keep recurring again and again. So for some people, that is sort of like automatic in their mind. So when something become automatic, you need to be very careful. Sometimes it's good, but sometimes it will sort of like put you inside the blanket. You forget other thing. Okay, so this queen a4 is just a pretty bad blunder lah. You get this queen for free. But Shabil win. Oh, so Shabil is not Shabil. Hafizullah did the thing. Okay, not Shabil. So Hafizullah did the what we call the mistake queen a4. So this is the thing lah. Even though it's common, don't play it automatically. Play what we call the specific of the position. So you don't want this. Okay, you don't want this happen. Okay, and then let's see, maybe the last, maybe we go to Hafiz Jamil and Tuan Fatin. Okay, Hafiz Jamil and Tuan Fatin, MASUM Open 2020 League, the recent one, 3 October. So you can see Hafiz Jamil go here. Okay, go here to a4, and we learned before in Siti Sarah and Subramaniam. Siti Sarah and Subramaniam, we learned before that if you have check here and then you have the knight sort of like hanging here, the one way to sort of like protect this knight is to push the C pawn. So you close the check diagonal, you also protect the knight. So this is standard method to protect the knight on the side, and also at the same time close the diagonal. But in this Hafiz Jamil and Tuan Fatin game, by the correct way in order to sort of like this is just to this lah, play like this, just to protect this knight and also sort of like close this diagonal. And even if you take like this, take, and then you just take lah, you take lah, you take with the knight. You might ask, why not taking with this knight, right? Why not take with this other knight? Then you get this sort of like the knight becomes centralized again rather than on the side. The knight becomes centralized again. The reason is that if you play like this, if you play this knight a c6 like this, you see the development for the black is quite sort of like quite passive lah. The bishop is still not going out, and also the white can just castling and then put the rook here, and it's very difficult for black to sort of like to develop his piece lah, his piece. So that's why knight time e6 and black is okay lah. Black is okay here. Okay. Okay. You might ask what happened if what we call you you play b5. Okay. So how why this thing is okay. So this you can play because you have this check, you have this still check, and also you can just sacrifice and so on. But it's not easy to get this knight lah. This knight can take this straight away actually, because you have this bishop here. If you, even though you think that this knight is sort of like trap, you also remember the bishop, you have the bishop here, so you just take for free. So it's basically what is lost here. Okay, so that's the idea of queen a4 and queen a5, to show you that this queen a4, this what we call this let me put here, this queen a4 and queen to go to a5 is quite a common theme, common pattern that you see that cause a lot of blunder, because we are talking about blunder now. We're talking about blunder now. And most of the thing that you see just now, the reason why this blunder happened, the queen to a4 is not a blunder, but it's just from the black perspective, is black do something and then queen to go to a4, black is the one who did the blunder lah. And if the queen go to a5, is the white the one that did the blunder lah. So the reason for this, if you see before, the reason for this is because of the loose piece, of the loose piece. If you look here again, here you can see here Jing Hafiz Jamil, is because of the loose piece here. You can see this is loose piece, and then we see what Umahani Kamalina, this also the loose piece. Okay, and also we see Safidin Khalid, this also loose piece, and also is also kill the privilege of castling, and so on lah. Siti Sarah Subramaniam, this also the loose piece, but in this case you can sort of like protect, that's okay. And also this what we call Hafizullah Shabil, this is sort of like psychology. White see this is a loose piece, but then forget that his piece is more looser than loose LOOS than the black. So from all of this, what we can learn is that in order to prevent you from doing this blunder, first you need to sort of like to be aware about queen a4 and queen a5 check, because it's occur a lot of time. And also secondly, you need to remember about loose piece drop off, LPDO, loose, LOOSE, loose piece drop off. You need to remember this acronym. Actually, this acronym they popularized by John Nunn. If maybe I put here, if I go to here, if I go to this thing, if I put LPDO chess, so it's LPDO. LPDO, what does it mean? Is loose piece drop off. So this sort of like acronym is sort of popularized by this John Nunn. John Nunn is one of the most common, one most famous writer, chess player and writer, book writer lah. for this LPDO, loose piece drop off. So remember that when you have the loose piece, be careful. Okay, so now let's see a little bit in detail lah. Just now I give you the big idea. So let's see a big detail about this blunder, the Queen A4 and Queen A5 thing. So let me go to this. Let me put here. Let me go to this site. You can see, right? Let me put view standard layout first. So it goes to center. It goes to center. Okay. So now, let me see the chat. Okay. Okay. So see now. So now we want to see this blunder in one of the famous opening. Okay. Queen side check in Sicilian. Okay, some of you play Sicilian. For example, MASUM play Sicilian. I think some of you, Nuril also, I think, play Sicilian. Hafiz play Sicilian. I think some of you play Sicilian. We will not talk about the opening here, but we will focus on the blunder due to Queen A4 and Queen A5 to show you that even at this really established opening, there are traps relying on this Queen A4 and Queen A5 lah. The Queen A4 here, let me put this thing color. Oh, now I can put this what call color this thing lah. Okay, so let's play. So this Sicilian, you know everything. You know, everyone know this Sicilian. If those are new player who are not familiar with this, please watch this ni lah. Our previous, or I already closed it. But you need to watch that lah in order to know in detail lah. So now Black play this Paulson variation, this Mizan Izzati favorite. Okay, so this is basically positional type of Sicilian. Okay, so I want to show you the Queen A4, not trap, but yeah, let's see. So play, and this Black play and F6. Okay, aiming to take this what we call the E4, the E4 pawn. Okay, so this is basically this NF6. Normally the move order, the correct move order is basically an C6 or A6, which kind of variation, but we will not talk in detail there. But NF6, you don't see it commonly, but it's still valid. Basically the NF6 is set the trap for white lah, because if white push like that, white push, and then you have this Queen A4. So now you get this pawn is what we call this hanging, and then you can take lah. So that is a typical blunder in Sicilian, especially in this Paulson variation, Paulsen, Paulson variation of Sicilian. So just to let you know, even though this established what we call this Paulson variation, you get this type of blunder when white try to overextend his pawn to move forward. Most of the time, this pawn push is good, okay? Because in Sicilian, especially in Paulson variation, if white can achieve this pawn push to what we call, if white can sort of like push this pawn here, normally white is doing better. But in this case, this is not, it's a blunder because you get for free straight away. Black can recapture the pawn. But if let's say there are no pawn, if there is no check here, then this pawn push is very strong. Okay, it's very strong. Later I will show you why. Because yeah, later I will show you why this pawn push is very strong. But let me go again this. So d4 blah blah blah. Okay, so in can variation, so this is a6. Okay, sometimes you have this, sometimes you have this a6 variation. So there are no blunder. So white normally doesn't go in front lah, because what 4, right? And also this pawn also will be sort of like get captured straight away. So this what we call kan variation, kan variation. So let's say now black play like this. Okay, black play like this, white play like this. Okay, now let's say black play and NF6. Okay, same position as before, but now black doesn't have this diagonal to check. So this, in this position, then this pawn push is very strong. This pawn push is very strong, because if let's say the knight go here, then you just sort of like shatter the white sort of like black black configuration, and just simply go here back. You protect this pawn again, this knight protect this pawn again, and also this queen attacking this pawn. So basically also you can see here black have this what we call 1, 2 and 1, 2, 3 island, and this one, the one in the middle here, is isolated, and it's easy to put the pressure there. So that's why in Paulson variation, normally when you can push the e5 without getting lost, without this pawn getting lost, then normally you have advantage lah. Okay, so that's why normally when white play like this, more often than not, black will play queen c7. Queen c7. The reason for this, sometimes you might ask, why when you play against your opponent, your opponent make a very strange move like queen c7? What is the purpose of this? It's not attacking anything and going there. What is the purpose of this? So that's why if you understand the basic of the opening, you get the idea why some move looking sort of like strange for you will make sense. The reason for this is because why black want to put this thing, because only by black putting here and moving this bishop out, only then the black king can castle lah. So in order to sort of like to develop his own piece, black need to make this slow move queen c7. Okay, so this queen c7, even though seems attacking nothing, but it's help in black development. So that's the idea lah. So that's why queen c7 lah. Okay, so now if let's say now white put black, instead of play queen c7, instead of playing this in order to sort of like protect this square, instead of that, let's say black play knight to c6. The same idea to protect this square also, to sort of like prevent white from pushing forward in case of this black play nf6. But in this case, remember this knight can be captured by the knight. So if let's say black white play this thing, queen what we call bishop e2, still black need to play this queen c7, because if black play queen knight to f6 straight away, then white can capture, and then deuce, and then you can take, and then you can push, and you can nd5, and then you have ne4. Okay, if you see the difference between these two knight, this knight on this e4, e5, black knight is not in really secure, because white can always push the pawn here. But this knight is quite strong, because this knight will go here, and also even this you can take from MASUM, and also this pawn here in the what we call in the middle, you can sort of like reinforce with the queen, with the bishop, and then you can sort of like castle queen side, and this rook here later on will sort of like go sort of like firing directly toward the king, and you also can see also the black also lose the privilege of castling. So you can see just one small mistake make a big problem in the opening here. So you can see just forgetting to move this queen to c7 cause a lot of things, because if you move here, then it's okay. Then if let's say white play castling, this move is okay now, because even though you take, then you take like this, regardless whether you play which one. First, this queen is already moved to the c7, so now this queen cannot take. So that's one thing, that's one good thing, because now the black king still maintain the privilege of getting castling. And also white cannot play like this, because just take away, just take like that. So you can see just small move in the opening. If you understand the opening, you can see that everything is connected. This move, this queen to c7 move seems like very strange, but it do a lot of thing. Okay, it do a lot of thing. Okay, so that's why sometimes studying opening, rather than memorizing the opening, you need to sort of like understand the reason behind the opening. Okay, so that's how you get improve in your chess. Okay, let's go again to this where of this. Okay, let's go again to this. Okay, we repeat again. This thing, go here, pulse variation, go here, go here, go here. But now instead of playing A6, previously we show what happened when we play A6, right? The scan variation, KAN. Okay, is basically, if you can go here, you can do can variation Sicilian. You can see the image here. So you can see this. You can see the what we call the pound to A6, right? So to A6, the black pawn to A6. So this kind of variation. So there are reasons why this variation exists. You might ask why. Sorry, I don't this thing. So if when I show like this, when here you don't see anything, right? So if let's say this thing happened during my coaching, please tell me, because I forget to do like this. Okay, I forget to do like this. Okay, don't keep quiet, because sometimes I use to monitor, I don't forget this thing. Okay, you can see here the kind of variation rush to play A6. Okay, A6, you see A6 here. So for black point of view, the reason for A6 is to stop white from advancing to NB5. Okay, let's go back to this. Okay, let's see again, what does it mean there. Okay, let's say white play what play this, which one I forget, wait, this E5, no, this is not, so NC3. Okay, NC3, let's say now, instead of playing okay, now white doesn't want to do this, because this pawn will be lost. So that's why white play this NC3 in order sort of like block this diagonal pass. So now this move is really the what we call the threat now. But in this case, you can see that black doesn't play this kind of variation. Okay, so let's say black play what we call this NC6. Okay, NC6. Okay, it's almost similar like previous structure, but the difference now, there are no pawn here. There are no pawn on the A6. So this allow white to play this another variation that focusing on this weakness on the what we call D6. Okay, so this is positional lah. We will not talk about positional, but just to show you that single very small difference in a variation can cause totally different outcome. For example here, because black doesn't play here, white can play here and now try to focus all his energy to this square, and later on this will put here, and then this square will become very weak. Okay, but it doesn't mean this is lost already, because in order to sort of like remove this weakness of the square, the theory just play this 6 lah, because at least now this pawn, this queen is at sort of like protecting this square, this 6 square. If you look here, this square only one piece protect it, which is this what we call this bishop. But when you put this E6, this D6, now there are two things that is protecting this 1 and 2. So because there are two things that is defending this square, and only two things that is attacking, then white cannot do anything lah. So the position is balanced lah. So this is more like positional. We will not talk positional now, but I just give you the idea. The small variation change will sort of like steer the game into totally different direction. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, so we talk about this what happened to queen a4, the queen a4 and queen a5 check blunder thing. So we talk about this Paulson variation to e6. Now normally when you play against the Sicilian, most of the time you see this d6 instead of the e6. this from the when your opponent play d6, normally the game will go to other type of Sicilian lah, maybe open Sicilian, the closed Sicilian, or dragon, Najdorf, Sozin, whatever. But here, still from this type of opening, the d6 Sicilian opening here, d6 the Sicilian opening here, there also still this trap that involve queen a4 and also queen a5. So where is it? So let's say white play this c3, and then black play queen nf6, and then now the knight want to take this e pawn. So now white can set up the trap by playing bishop e2. Normally I don't like to talk about trap, because trap is not really, if you want to improve in chess, you don't rely on trap. Sometimes it's good when you don't have anything else to do. For example, your position is very bad, then yes, trap, they are skilled to create a trap out of that, out of that lah. But if you play the opening and make just a tiny trap like this, it's not really a good way to improve lah. You play a main line, and then the trap normally is, for me, is okay if you are in the worst position and then you have nothing to do, and then you do this desperado or trap thing, then it's okay, justified lah. But if you just play your game just praying that your opponent will not see your trap, falling to your trap, then you will not improve much lah. You will not improve much. You may win 1 or 2 game, but not in the for long. For example here, okay, bishop e2, yeah, okay, maybe this this is trap, because if, let's say, if knight take, then of course you get this queen what we call queen a4 check, and taking this knight for free. So this is basically one of the trap. So you go here, so as if like white doesn't protect his pawn, then you get this thing. Okay, now if, let's say, now instead of taking this, black close the what we call the position. So meaning now this become like a real threat now, because there are no check here. Okay, so if, let's say, white play d4, does this mean this pawn is free for all? Is free, because now there are no check anymore, and this pawn is hanging, and we said before, loose piece drop off. So does this correct or wrong? The answer is wrong, because even though you seem like getting this free and then this is not check, white have this intermediate move d5, and now if this knight move, then you have check, and then you take this knight, right? If this knight move, then you take the knight here. So either way, one of the knight will be lost lah. So you need to also see 2 steps ahead lah, 1 step ahead than your opponent. Okay, for example, like this, there are no immediate check, but you have this intermediate move which cause black to lose lah. Okay, now let's say now black take, instead of taking this pawn on this, black take here, not there, black take on the d4 like this. Okay, and then you take like this, and then now the question is same. Is this knight taking on the e4 is justified or not here? Because if you look here, it's same like before. The knight take the e4, and then white have this d5. But here, it's a little bit different, because now it is black who have this check. You see, you have this check, right? You have this check. Before black move this thing, it is black turn, and black have this check. Previously, if you look here, sort of like this ns6, and then you go here, and then if, let's say, you sort of like take straight away like this, here you don't have check. This doesn't have check, because they are pawn here. Protecting the preventing this diagonal check here, preventing the diagonal check to the king from the black queen on a5. So here, when black takes on the what we call on the d4 here, for example, let me put here on the d4. When you take this diagonal is already open. This diagonal is already open. Okay. So now if black take and white push, black have this. Okay. And then it doesn't mean that white is lost, because white can go here and then take and then take, and then the knight goes away, and then you take the knight and then you check, and then you prevent the check, and then you take the knight and then you castle. Okay. Try to look for a while this position. If you look here, white have how many pound? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pound, and black have how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pound. So 2 pound extra. Does it mean that black is better here? To your surprise, if you look, you put this into engine, into Stockfish or whatever, they will say that black it's not black who is better here. It is white who is better. Even though white is 2 pound, for example here you can see 2 pound less than black, but in this position, in this specific position, it is white that is having the advantage. It's not like white having a very sort of like immediate winning move, but it's just because of white have easy development. If you look here, the black bishop doesn't go out yet. This bishop doesn't get out yet. This rook is not yet developed, and this king still in the middle. This rook is not developed. So even though you have this 2 pound extra, but in this position, white is better lah. At least better, easy to play. If you are white here, it's easy to play as white than black. For example, here, from this position, white can play. For example, from this position, white can play. Let's say now, black take this pawn, because now you can see when you take this, white castle, and you see this pawn is still another one free, right? So even now, even if black take the pawn, black is 3 pound advantage here. Still, white have the advantage. I mean, even though black have 3 pound extra, white is the one who have advantage here. Okay, why? Because of the development. Because from here, white can keep the development forward by attacking the queen, and the queen goes out and then goes here. So now the idea is that what? Why you not attack here? Because it's just empty threat only. If you go to b1, it's just empty threat. At least when the rook go here, at least the rook can go inside, can go to this point. At least the rook can go to this position. If the rook go here, b1, this is what I call the empty threat only. Of course, the white black queen will go somewhere else, right? And then what the purpose of the rook here, right? So that's why this is better lah. You go here. Okay. So let's say now black play very not good. For example, black play a6 here. Okay. So now white can go to sort of like c7, and here the position is already winning for white. The reason why? The reason is because this rook is already in the 7th rank. And also black is really undeveloped. And in case if let's say black developed by g6 here, try to move the what we call the pawn, move his what we call the bishop to g7 here, white just go queen c2, threatening to take this what we call this bishop on the c8, and then if the bishop go there, and then you have this rook b1, so you put another rook and harass the queen. So you can see even the 3 pawn advantage is much easier to play as white. And in fact here, white is already winning, because if the queen move, then the rook goes inside and penetrating into the black position like that. So here, so that is if black play this a6 move. Okay, so actually the good move for black is to play the g6 move, but still because black need to develop, he cannot just play passive like a6 before. So black need to develop, so he need to move his bishop here and sort of like castle and so on. And then the rook still go there, and then bishop g7, and then you see the rook go here. You can see now the rook is attacking this pawn. Okay, so black can stay there and sort of like more or less protect the rook. No, you cannot protect. You can protect like this, right? But still, if you protect like this, then we can see that white initiative is so big. It's so big, so that it's much more better for black to just castle, just give the thing, because when you do that, at least you can develop faster. You may say that okay, you take another one, but you just go here and this position is unclear lah. White still have sort of like easy play, but black can survive here. So when you have this extra piece, for example here in this position, you have extra piece, extra pawn, 3 pawn, but if you are having difficulty in playing, for example here, black have difficulty in sort of like what we call the developing and so on, then it's no use. So it's much better in this case, you develop, for example you move, you develop, you try to sort of like want to castle, and then just castle, give back the piece in order to sort of like finish your development. Okay, just give back something, and this position is quite equal lah. It's unclear, but at least black can play on and so on. This position is, we can say, equal or unclear lah. Unclear. It's very difficult to play this position. Okay, so we are basically so what we have learned now, we have learned that the queen side check, the one that I put my mouse here, happened also in an established opening, not only because of the blunder that you see previously in your games, but also it's also occur again and again in this established opening. Okay, this is one example only lah, the Sicilian, but there are a lot more in French, in Scaro, in whatever, there are a lot more lah. But I just give you some idea only how dangerous this queen a4 and queen a5 check. Normally, it's easy to see after you analyze, but during the game, most player, they forget about this and ending up losing some piece, some pawn, and so on. Okay, we done with this what we call this queen side check, the queen a4, queen a5. Okay, so the conclusion here, normally when you are facing this queen a4 or queen a5, usually it's happened during the opening. And normally the blunder happen because of LPDO, loose piece drop off. Okay, you might ask, what's the difference between this? If you see back here, you can see there are another one here, queen to queen to h5, and also queen to h4. I make different. This is actually here. Okay, so this is not there. This is basically queen to, this is basically here. So this color this. So this is basically, let me close this. So this is basically here. Okay, so you can see the difference. When queen go to h file, so the white queen goes deep into the black position, and when the black goes to h4, black also go deep into the white position. When I say deep into the position, meaning that you see the chessboard here, right? The chessboard here, you can divide the chessboard here. in the middle here, right? In the middle here. So if your opponent can put their piece in your half board, then we can say your opponent already enter your territory. So for example, on the H file, the queen move to H file normally already going into the territory. Okay, and if you look here, normally this thing when the queen go to the H file normally is about mating attack. Okay, when the queen go to the A file, A, so you can see the A, when queen to the A file, normally it's not about the mating attack, mate or attack. It's more about the blunder. You check and then you take something. You check, you take something. But when the queen go to the H5, more often than not, it's about checkmate. It's more about attack. And to prove that, let's go to what we call. Let's go here. This what? This is MASUM open. No, I don't want to see this. Let's see pool. Where is the pool data? Yeah, this one. The one that I show you before, but I want to show you this is when we try to see queen A4 and A5 at the A file. Now we want to see what happened queen to H file, the H1. So you just control F and then let me the testing. I put this thing first. Okay, so this is the what we call the 500 data before. So instead of going to A4, let's go to the H5. H5, queen to H5. And then if we mirror, meaning that queen to H4 also will be captured lah. So either white and black. So we go okay. So okay, you can see there are also a lot. There are also a lot. So to show that this is quite common. So let me show here. I want to do here. So that is bigger lah. It's bigger, easy for you to see. Let me see here. Let me put here for a while. Okay. So let's see here. Yamin Huzaifi. Okay, you can see it's more about. I just go fast. It's more about mating. When the queen go to H5 or H4, it's more about mating. So this Yamin Huzaifi, Faiz Sekeri. So you can see. It's about mating. Normally it's in the middle game and end game lah. So you can see Nuril checkmate there. Going to the H5 is more about mate. It's not about the opening anymore. It's about going for the mate. So let me put myself there. Okay. So here you can see it's about the mating, right? The queen go near the what I call the black territory. Here Anik Uzaifi also about mate. This also about mating lah. So this also about mate. Okay. This also about attacking lah. So this also about attacking. This about attack and mate. This attacking in the game. This in the game. So you can see there. Nearly to the checkmate there. And then Khalid also you can see queen to H5 is normally for checkmate. Also for checkmate, you can see more or less like a checkmate. Nuril also you can see nearly to the checkmate. Kroto Ain nearly to the checkmate. You king already here, already on this deep into this white position. Kroto Ain and Kamarud and what is this? Kamaruddin, I don't know. So also the checkmate near. So this also this Khalid game with the Suman Srayes also about the attacking. So this also checkmate. This also nearing the checkmate. So this Mizan, I think. Mizan game. So this is later lah we will talk about this. But also this. Okay, one more thing. When queen go to H4, H5, as you can see, it's more about the checkmate and also it's about perpetual. It's also about checkmate and also perpetual. Two things. When queen go to H5, it's either checkmate, either attack, checkmate or attack or perpetual. For example, this you can just get perpetual lah. Go here and then check, and then you get perpetual lah. You get perpetual. At least you get perpetual. For example, if you see, I think Huzaifi during the League Chess League. Okay, no, the Subramaniam, Huzaifi, yeah, Huzaifi and Mubin. So for example here, queen go to h5, giving to perpetual. Okay, giving perpetual. If not, Huzaifi is white here. If not, Huzaifi will lost here. Okay, it's just because the reason why this thing is because yeah, the thing is because yeah, because the king go there. Okay, the king go there, and this allow the perpetual. Then of course the king goes here, then white is lost lah. Okay, because they are no perpetual. But the king go there. Yeah, for example here. So the king go here, then they are no perpetual. Okay, but because the king go here, then you have this. Actually, you don't do this. This also wrong lah. It's also loose lah, because you get this what we call rook c8 lah, just preventing the back rank from perpetual happen. But in this case, Mubin play, the black play queen to what we call queen to c5, thinking that white will take on this, but white have this perpetual on this d8. And then because of that, from d8, remember from d8 you can go to h5 and because of that you have this perpetual check, and then is draw lah. Is draw. So the queen going to the h5 is either attack or mat or perpetual. Okay, so that is the common pattern lah you need to know. Okay, one interesting thing I need to tell about this Faiz. Faiz, if you look Faiz game, commonly if you look here, this check, right? But what happened before that? Okay, Faiz take. So this bishop take, you give a sacrifice lah. Sacrifice the bishop, and then you go to h5 check, and then later we will discuss this again. And again Faiz, let's see another Faiz game. Okay, another Faiz game here. Faiz Qurratu Ain, right? So you can see before that, before queen go to h5, so Faiz play bishop take on h2. So this basically sacrifice a bishop, and then you have this queen go to h5. So you can put the queen to the h5 by first sacrifice the bishop on the h7. So this actually they have a name for this. This standard technique, attacking technique, is called bishop sacrifice. Modern they call it bishop sacrifice, but for the old person they call it Greek sacrifice, Greek gift, Gree. So let me put this. They call it Greek gift, GREEK GIFT, Greek gift. Chess. Wikipedia. So you have the Wikipedia. So you can see the bishop take on this lah. So I think it's better I put image lah. So you can see the bishop take the h7. So this is common lah. This is common attacking technique lah. Attacking technique which allow the queen go to h5. Okay, we talk about queen to go to h5, right? So Greek gift is one of the attacking technique that allow the queen go to the h5. So let's me close this thing. Let's me talk a little bit about Greek gift, because this is common, but Greek gift doesn't mean when white play this thing doesn't mean that white straight away win. Okay, it's not like a combination that you get mated straight away. No. If it's not necessarily white win straight away. Okay, it's just positionally. So just let me move this to here first, and then let me open this Greek gift idea to give you the idea for those I'll just give you a quick idea lah about Greek gift. Okay, let me put the standard layout here, view, and then standard layout. So that is in the center. So this is like a prototype of the Greek gift idea. Greek gift idea. So idea of Greek gift is basically one of the most dominant attacking theme in chess lah. Bishop is sacrificed on the h7, so that normally they are pawn there lah. So you take that. the idea for this Greek gift is basically to expose the king, out. So normally black, the defender, has a little choice but to accept the sacrifice. But when the sacrifice is accepted, normally the knight will go and the king go back, and then the king come in, the queen go to the h5, and then you have unstoppable checkmate here lah, in this position. This unstoppable. So that's the idea of Greek gift lah. But here it doesn't mean whether white succeed or fails, defeat depends on the exact formation at this precise moment lah. Because Greek gift not necessarily winning straight away. Okay, remember this. Greek gift doesn't mean that you get checkmate straight away. So whether white is succeed or fail depend on the precise arrangement of the piece on the board at that particular moment. In this case, this is just for show only lah. It's just show only. But in the real game, it's like this. Okay, let me open first. Okay. So this, let me put the standard view first, so that it aligned in the middle. Okay, so you can see that, right? So here, so you can see the configuration is quite right for the Greek gift. You can see you have the bishop, you have the knight, and also you have this queen. Normally you need these three things: bishop, knight, and the queen. And also this also have the pawn on the sort of like on the e5, like pawn in the in the black position, because when the pawn is here, the knight cannot be here lah. So the knight somewhere here or there lah. So the prerequisite for Greek gift is normally you need three pieces: the queen, the bishop, and the knight, and also they need to have no defender on here lah. So here check, because I don't go in detail about Greek gift and so on, so I just give the idea only. So you can check here, knight there, because this knight normally is protected by this bishop on the c1, so that's this queen cannot take the knight. So that's one of the idea lah. The knight must be protected lah. Most of the time the knight is protected. So now black cannot capture the knight. So the king now can go either few place. The king can go here, Let me remove the color here. It's too a lot of color here. Let me remove first. Let me remove this color. So the king here can go there, or can go back. Okay. Normally, if king goes straight away, then it's straight loss lah. Because if you go here and then you go to the h5 with the check, and then you get checkmate lah. Okay. So normally king to h8 is normally straight loss lah. If you go here, if you go to the h6, then you get this discover check lah, because you have this bishop check, and then you get normally queen or whatever lah. So normally that's also one way lah. And if you go here, then normally white have three ways to proceed the attack. Either the most common one is to queen g4 lah. The idea for queen g4 is that to make this discover check. So next you go to check, and then you get the queen lah. Okay, so that's the idea, not to sort of like to do a discover. So that's one way to sort of like to continue the attack. The second is to check from the side. Okay, from the side. Here, if for example, let's say king go to sort of like h6, then you get checkmate straight away. So that is checkmate. Okay, so if there is no checkmate, if there is, let's say there are rook here, so there are no checkmate. More often than not, because the king already in this sort of like fire path, so the knight normally this discover check more often than not is devastating lah. Is devastating enough. Okay. So and normally when the queen, the attacker attack from the side, from the diagonal here, so the most common is to play f5 lah, f5 in order to block the thing. and the queen normally go to the g3, okay, to the g3 to sort of like reinstate the threat of discover check, because now you want to discover check like this, right? Okay, so let's go here first to queen g4 first. So you already check. Okay, check. The most, normally the most not difficult, it depend on the position, but most of the time if the king go up, this is where white need to show whether he know or not what he did, because there are no immediate checkmate here, but white need to know how to increase his pressure, his what we call, because remember white already sacrificed a bishop. If let's say the king can get away from now, then white is simply lost. So white need to make sure to remember that he already a bishop down, so he need to make sure that his attack can get continued. Okay, when king goes to g6, as I said, there are three ways to white to continue the attacks, going to this, what we call this here, and going to here, and one more way is basically this side. Is basically one more I forget to say, is to protect the what we call the knight. And when the pawn go here, for example here, the idea is that to checkmate here lah, to go straight away here and then do the discover and so on. This one way lah. And normally if let's say you have this rook go to the h8 to prevent that, but here still the configuration is good because you have this two thing, you can just check lah, and then you get this discover, and then you get this queen lah, or maybe even checkmate, or maybe you can just go here also. Is they have a lot of things you can do. Okay, so there is three ways to, for example, when you are sort of like sacrifice your bishop in order to continue the Greek gift attack, is either to go to g4, to g3, to d3, and also h4 if the king go to this g6. G6. Okay, so let's look at this queen g4, because this is the most common, okay, and the most common defending method is to play f5 lah, f5. Okay, because if not, it's just white can just because remember, you see here the king here is sort of like cannot move. It's really even though black is down bishop, but you look here, king for white king, black king cannot move. If he move, then he got this discovered and so on. Okay, so the threat now is knight take and discover check lah. So that's why the most common defense from here is f5. Okay, because if you discover check and then you take lah this thing. So that's ni lah. So that's why this is the most common defense, and the most common response for white is go back to sort of like to reinstate the threat of knight take this e6. Okay, so in this case white have the option here. White have option either to go here or en passant. To go en passant. For those one, you please make sure you don't forget about this en passant. This here en passant. Normally en passant is not recommended lah, because when you do en passant here, the king already can sort of like get away. But in this specific position, white position is very overwhelming that en passant also win, because now of course you can just castling and win straight away lah. But more often than not, there are no like open path for this. Normally white doesn't have this luxury, so en passant normally most of the time is not really good in this position, but in this specific position that is good enough to win, because you have this open file. So now let's go to the standard one. Let's go to the queen g3. So basically you sort of like maintain the pressure. So now queen g3, you keep pressure and so on lah. Okay, yeah, so that's the thing lah. And sometimes you black goes here, because when sort of like sometime more often than not, black will sort of like push here, because when you push here, so you can see the communication between this bishop and the knight is already sort of like close. So now black can take this, right? But in this specific position, that's why I said this position is quite already overwhelming for white. So you can just check lah, you just sort of like you can check or whatever. In fact, you can just take this also, you can okay also, but you can have check here. You cannot take because yeah, you cannot take here, but you can check. And then if you took this, and then they have this queen g h at the back here. You have this thing, and then you have this a lot of attack going on lah, because you have this weak pawn, and then you have this thing, and then you have this check, and you have also this castling forward, and also this also problem, because now white can also do this thing. And normally when you do this thing, normally when black push this thing in order to take this, there are two ways. Either you go straight away, you maintain again. If you want to maintain, that is okay. So that's why you maintain the sort of like maintain the pressure there. But if you do like this, you maintain the pressure, you need to remember this already close. You always need to careful about this, because now white black just take and win lah. So be careful about this. And that's why normally when the pawn is pushed to f4, the queen go to the what we call to d3 to check. And you might ask, okay, this give another piece for free. You already sacrificed the bishop, now you have knight, but the position is pretty good for white now. So you can just go here and maybe win it later on lah, because you have this, you have check, and also you have this. So they have a lot of things. Okay, and in fact, you can also check first actually. Like you can check first and so on lah. There are a lot of stuff happening here lah. So that is basically what happened when the king go to sort of like g6 lah, g4 like this. Okay, so there are three ways: queen g4, queen d3, and also h4. Okay, if let's say queen h8, we know that is bad. Queen h6, we know that you have this discover, and so on. So here, okay, let's now we see queen to g8 now. Okay, you check, remember, you check, you take, and this thing, there are four ways for king move, either up or down. We know this is bad because you have check with tempo. We know this is bad because you have this discovered check, and the queen will be taken. We already learned about what happened when the king go to g6. We have three ways, which is this queen go to g4, queen check on the d3, and also h4, h5 check. And now what happened if king go to g8? So here again, we still in this what we call study about queen to the h file. So now this is queen to the h file, but it's not with check. Here, the only way to prevent the checkmate is to move the rook, because if you move here, then you can checkmate, right? You can checkmate. Remember, this knight is controlling this thing. So if you go here, then you can checkmate also. So the only way is basically to move the rook so that the king can move somewhere later on. But here, if you just check here, that this is less accurate. Of course, white is still winning because you go there, you check there, you go there, you check, but it's not checkmate. If let's say, remember, white is already down a piece. You already sacrificed a bishop. So white need to be careful, because if not, he just simply lost a bishop. Okay, maybe you get this 2 pawn also, right? But still, in the middle game, a piece much better lah. In the end game, yes, pawn is better than the lah. Here still white is winning lah, because you see there are still this pawn can just go and make a queen, and also this bishop can move, and then you can castle. It's easy development. So that's the reason why white is easily can win lah here. But it's not mad. If you look here, when when the rook goes to somewhere to give the leeway for the king to move, the correct way is to take this first. Okay, take this first, and then you go there, check, 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 check. And the difference here, because there are no pawn here, then when you take here is a checkmate. Because remember, this pawn is one of the prerequisite of Greek gift. Not only it prevent the knights from defending defending the h7 pawn, is also preventing the knight and the king escape in the middle, so you get the checkmate. So here the best way is to take the f7 first and then play to h5. You see the concept of the queen to h5, queen to from the d1 to h5, from the f7 to h5 is keep recurring. So go there, go there, go there, go there, go there, go there, and then checkmate. So that is basically the idea of Greek gift in the game, in the actual game. And this Greek gift is not like something something very rare. It's happened many times. That's why I show you this. It can happen in your game. For example, in Faiz game, right? As you can see just now, Faiz play this Greek gift also, but we'll see later whether it's correct or not. But before we go to the Faiz game, let me see when this Greek gift doesn't work. Okay, let me open this thing first. Let me close something that is, because there are many things now. Let me close this, yes lah. Okay, so let me okay, so let me put in the middle first. Let me view to the standard layout. Okay, so this is when the Greek gift doesn't happen. So you can see the position is more or less the same, right? You have the what we call the knight, you have the bishop, you have the queen. So, and also you have this pawn in the e5. So the condition for the Greek gift is there. So, but here is not really advisable to do this because, okay, here is black to move, black to move. So in this position, black play this. Okay, so now the question whether white, is it okay for white to go for the Greek gift or not okay? So that's the question. Now, whenever you have this bishop here, whenever you have this knight here, whenever you have the queen here, and also the pawn here, then always ask, can you play Greek gift or not? In this case, it's not good because you check, g5. Okay, so in this case, there are no bishop here, but at least this pawn protect this knight, so the queen cannot take lah, right? So, but remember, the queen cannot take doesn't mean the queen absolutely cannot take, because here queen just take, because remember, always, even though you think this knight is protected, but the queen can take also. It doesn't mean that it's forever cannot. It's not like forever cannot take. Here queen can take. Okay, don't forget queen can also capture. Okay, normally in Greek gift, if queen take the knight, black, the defender normally end up with the two piece. The bishop, you see, the bishop. So you see this bishop is one piece. Okay, and then they are knight, so they are two piece for the queen. Normally two piece and the queen is not enough. But here in this specific position, black can take another piece. So now black have three piece versus queen. So normally three piece and queen, three piece is better lah than queen. Okay, but how to play, that's different matter lah. But three piece is more than a good compensation than for the queen. So you can see here, you have queen h5, queen g8, 0-0. So here white doesn't have really, still white have some advantage lah, but it's not as big as before. Okay, because if let's say this three piece can come out, then what is worse lah, because now in the current position, white is slightly better because he's quite developed lah. But if given time, if white play very not really accurately, if white give chance for the black to sort of like to develop his knight, his bishop, then at that moment black is better than white, because 3-piece versus queen, 3-piece is better. Okay, 3-piece is better most of the time. Okay, but depend on the position lah. If the queen can checkmate straight away, then no use lah. So that's the one way, one of the reason why Greek gift doesn't work. Always don't forget that even though you check, the queen can capture. Okay, so that's the thing. That's one thing. Okay, so the second reason why the Greek gift cannot work is this. Let me open first. Okay, so look at this position first. It's white to play. So you have here, you have the bishop, you have the knight, you have the queen. Okay, so now the knight is basically attacking the bishop. Okay, the knight is attacking the bishop. So it's now or never. Okay, if the knight take the bishop, then there are no more Greek gift. There are no Greek gift anymore. So it's now or never. But the question here is, the Greek gift is valid or not here? Okay, if the Greek gift valid or not? Okay, so if the bishop take, the king take, the knight take, the knight go and check here. Even though if you take here, then it's blunder lah, because you take with the check, and then also you have this is much stronger lah. Okay, because you open the file for the rook. So normally, if let's say they are pawn on the h5 and then there are rook behind that, normally black normally doesn't take lah, because it will open another file, another power for the white. But here, the king can just go to g6. Okay, g6. Okay, here, let me remove all the color first because it's quite annoying. There are a lot of color. Okay, so here, king to g6 is a blunder. Queen to g6 is a blunder because of you have this queen g4. Queen g4. Sometimes queen g6 is okay, but in this case queen g6 is not okay, because even though the black take the pawn with the check here, king g here, and then if you take the bishop there, if the bishop take, because now the what we call the threat is pushing this lah, the immediate push and then win lah. If the bishop take the thing and then you just take, and now if let's say the queen go and want to take this pawn, it's not really can take lah, but at least let's say black move something here. In order to win, they are like a standard method. They are standard method. When the pawn is already take here, the way how to win is to rook h6. So this is standard method lah. Because if you take, and then you take with the check, and now the king cannot go anywhere because it cannot go here, and then if you go here, then you have a checkmate here. So that is a standard method of how to continue the attack. If, for example, in this case, when you have this queen check, and then the king goes to g6, which is the blunder here, because you have this thing. Because you have this pawn push there, and also if let's say even though the what we call the bishop take, and then you have this standard method of winning lah. And okay, so the best move here is queen queen g8. Okay, queen g8. So here, if let's say if queen h5 straight away, if let's say the bishop, the queen take go to h5 straight away, aiming to give checkmate here, then you have this, the black have bishop take c4 check, and then the king go here, and then the bishop d3. So bishop d3, once you can control this square, then the Greek gift will not work. Okay, once you can control the h7 square, then Greek gift no more. Okay, so always be careful about that. Always be careful about that. So that's why in this case, before queen go to h5, the what we call the king go to g1. The reason is because now white want to go to h5, but they are not checked anymore. Okay, now the threat is again the white want to go here, but in this case the bishop cannot go to d3, because in order to go to b3 he need to move 1 and 2. Previously it can do it in with tempo, because you have check, right? Because if you go here you have check tempo, so when you are checked then you cannot do anything else, you need to move the king, and because of that you get this to d3 square. But in this position the idea still the same, but now if white play nothing like this, then this surely can win lah, because now you take, it's not check, so you just checkmate first lah. But in this position it's still wrong. Let me remove this thing. Remove. Okay, the king already go to g6, so there are no tempo check. But remember, as I said, if let's say black can control this s7, there are no Greek gift. Remember white already sacrificed a bishop, so white is a bishop down. So if the Greek gift doesn't work, then white is simply lost lah. So in this case black have this bishop b7. Okay, bishop b7. Okay, if you go to h5, then bishop e4. Controlling the h7 is critical in order to refute the Greek gift. Here, if let's say the knight take, then there are no knight anymore, then there are no more, of course there are no more Greek gift anymore, because one of the idea of Greek gift, the knight must be here to support the queen checkmate here. So if the knight take, then it's just simply nothing lah. So that is where the second reason when the Greek gift doesn't work. The first reason is when the what we call the queen can take, capture, and then you get this 3 pieces versus queen. The second reason why Greek gift doesn't work is because the what we call the defender can control the s7 square. Okay, so this thing, when I show you this about this attacking technique of the Greek gift, it doesn't mean that, as I said before, it's not rare. Because if you look here, if I can show you this thing. Okay, so this is basically my game with James Whale. I don't know when. So 2012. Okay, so blah 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 blah. So you see the Greek gift. Okay, so I'm black here. I'm black. Okay, so you can see the idea how the build up of the Greek gift. Normally you push, you need to remove the defender. When you push this what we call this bishop is already eyeing the s7, so you move, and then this c4, and here I make a mistake lah. I make a blunder. Bishop take this thing. Okay, I take the blunder because now allowing the what we call the white to make a Greek gift. Okay, in fact here you just take lah, you still maintain this thing, because this bishop is important to control this knight to control the knight from coming to the g5, so that bishop need to be there. Okay, so that's why the best move is take lah, simply take, and that's it, and that's equal again lah. But I take this thing, allowing the Greek gift, bishop take h7. So here is already white is already winning lah, because all the condition of Greek gift is correct. Just to show you that this can happen in your game also, because this is common. This is common. So you take, and then here the most challenging one is going to queen g6, queen g7. So my opponent is white, I am black, so I go to my opponent go queen g4. Queen g4. You might ask, okay, you say that white is winning, but why here on the title here, James Way, one Mount Fuzzy, then you are winning? The reason is because my opponent sort of like doesn't know, doesn't know. I mean that it make a blunder. It make a blunder. We see what the blunder. So far this is what we learned before. Queen to G4 and then defend by F5 and then Queen to G3 and then I push to F4, and here the winning is just simply Queen D3 like we learned before. Okay, but my opponent, what he did, he just go to Queen G4, thinking that he maintaining the pressure, but forgetting that I just can take for free. So that's why I say you, even though this move, the pawn move here, pawn F5 and then go to G3 and then pawn to F4, seeming like we have seen this before, right? We think that okay, this Wu will go here, right? Wu will go here, right? But there are people, this happened in the real game again and again. Okay, they forget, they thinking that white thinking that it still can maintain the pressure, but just forgetting that the queen can take the knight because this path for the bishop is already blocked by this pawn, and normally because of this rook already attack this pawn, and in this case I have the knight, so that's why the bishop cannot take. And that's sometimes this oversight, the blunder, this is what we call blunder. Blunder because of oversight. We are too engrossed with the pattern, but we forget that each specific position have their own, what we call their own nuance. So you cannot just rely 100% on the pattern. You need to work. You cannot just play on generality. As I said, Greek gift, you cannot base on generality. It's always, if there is different change in the position, then totally different lah. So okay, so that's a blunder lah. That's a blunder, and then you just that's a blunder. That's a blunder. So this is a blunder lah. So how to continue? As I said before, when the pawn go to F5 and F4, so this is winning lah. Not this. This Queen D3 is winning, but it's not very clear. You, as I said before, when you go like this, the king can take, right? The king can take here. King can take here. But of course, this is losing lah. The best defense is rook go here, because as I said, the king take here is normally losing because you have this Queen S7, which is very strong. Okay, threatening to knight check here and go all the stuff lah, go checkmate and so on. So that's why. If you take here, if you take that, you have this check, and then you can Queen G4, and then you have G and mate lah, and you get mate, checkmate lah. So that's the reason, even though white doesn't have check here, he still can win by check. So that's why the idea queen go to S7 is that to check, and then G4, and then you have G6 here, checkmate. So that's why normally in this position, when the queen go to S7 as a defender, normally it's a good idea to play G6 in order to close this, this thing, because now the ordinary G4, H4, even though seems very strong, but is even losing. White is losing here because you just go here and nothing. You can see the benefit of G6 now. This G6, this very small pawn now, you can see the benefit of it, because now there are no check there. So the king is, yeah, more or less crazy, but still safe. Even you play H5 now, you can have this, what we call, it's easy to see. It's not very easy lah, the how you proceed now. Okay, how do you proceed now? As a white, how do you proceed now? As a black, how do you defend? How do you defend here? So here, the idea here, you is playing Queen C7. So that is the way how to defend. The reason why you play this Queen C7 is because if you take, for example, if you take like this, then you just take like that, and then at least this what we call this, remember this bishop control this thing, this queen control this diagonal, and this what we call this pawn is controlled by this this rook, and this king can go somewhere and it's safe lah. So in this case, black is winning lah. Black is winning. The very reason why the queen go to sort of like this c7 is because if let's say you play this rook g, let's say you play this, you play like this, this is blunder. So you take this thing, you can take that and then take, and then queen f7 because there are no rook there, and then king take a5, and then bishop take a5, and so on lah. So that's why the rook here, the rook normally stay here. Normally when you are defending against the Greek gift, the rook normally stay here in order to protect this pawn, and also to protect this square. If the rook move, normally is the end lah. Normally you whatever, and then you have that square, and then you have that pawn. So that's normally the rook will not go. If let's say you go to, instead of playing queen c7, it seems like nothing, like going to c7 still you get this thing. But here if you take this, okay, taking here nothing lah, even losing for white, because you just take that, and then you can just simply, like as I said before, the queen can go here because this rook is protected by this, by this bishop, and this pawn is protected by this, so everything is protected. So even though the king here is already in the middle, but it's still safe lah. So here that's why you take this thing, and then king a5, and then g7. So that's why the reason why the best move is queen to s7, in order to sort of like to challenge this queen straight away, because the queen on the s7 here is very dangerous. So if you play like this, if you play instead of queen c7, you play this knight c6, then you can take, black can take there, white can take on the g6, and then create his own track of push the pass pawn forward lah. So you go there, and then you go there, and then you maybe rook g8, and then bishop take that, because you have that thing already. So bishop, but here you get the perpetual lah, you get perpetual, and so on, and so on. So it's drawish lah. So just to show you that even though here, okay, so here this move, not here, this move, even though giving the knight is not really clear, is so here the best is rook f5 lah. But here, even though this king take this knight is not really easy, because for example, as I said before, queen to f7, threatening the knight check or checkmate, you have this g6, this g6. So in this case, as I said before, the h5 doesn't do anything because you got the king can go away. The best way is to play g4. Okay. So this is very difficult to see in the practice, but if you learn, you can see that this cannot pass it because the open check, and also here it's pretty difficult to see this move, because what is the purpose? It's not really difficult because you take, then you have all this what we call the rook goes to fire and so on lah. But here is what we call the way how to continue the attack. Okay. How to continue the attack? You just go what we call go a5 here. The reason why you play this. Okay, first the reason why you do this. Why you play g4? The reason is that in order to play g5, you play g5 in order to play. Let's say I give a null move, insert null move, insert null move. In order to play this, and then this king cannot go here. So that's the reason why g4 is played. Okay. If you take, then of course you play this, and then you get all the stuff lah, will happen lah. So that's why this move, if you play wrongly, if you play automatically like this, then black even win. So you need to find this move, this g4 move, okay, in order to know. So in the Greek gift is more or less for the attacker is trying to sort of like trap this king. So for example, if you play this thing, the king is not trapped, can go get out and then take this and so on. If you play this thing, then the king is trapped, and then it's much better. So in general, when you think about the Greek gift like this, whether you succeed or not depend on the precise position of the piece lah. Okay, so I think for today I will stop here. In the next session we continue again, and we see what happened to the Far East game and so on. We see about the Blunder again. So for today class is only 11. So for today's class, so let me open this full PC. Yep. Let me open this myself first here. Okay, so for today's class, basically what we learned about the typical blunder due to the queen to the A file and also queen to the H file. We also learned about this blunder also happened during this established opening, like the the Sicilian opening. We also learned about the LPDO, loose piece drop off. We also learn about how to attack when we learn about the Greek gift and so on. And also the Greek gift have some something to do with the queen to the H file. When we talk about queen to the H file, it's about the mating and so on. So Greek gift is one of the typical standard attacking way to put the queen to the H file. Okay, and then so that's what we learned today. So in the next class we will continue from that about the typical blunder, because I will focus on blunder during this coaching. I will focus on blunder because as I said, no matter how good your positional game and so on, if you make a blunder during the game, then it's no use. So I think that's it for today. It's already 11. I also have something to do, so that's it. So if you have any question, then you can sort of like ask me in the WhatsApp group. But by that, I think that's it. So let me see the chat. There are no chat. So I think that's it for today. We end our session today with recitation of Tasbih Kafarah and Suratul As.